I say, hey, if you can get that 3.5% down payment, you can be in a home. My payment's going to be less than your rent, dude. I mean, so it's not me just talking and making it, talking real fast and it sounding really good, but showing them with numbers, showing them with actual data and just doing side-by-side comparisons. And they go, wow, is this real? Is this true? Where's the catch? And there is no catch.
Welcome to the Jeff Sutherland Show. Let's grow today as we learn from decades of real estate and leadership experience.
We want you to know that when you log into this show, you're going to get authentic conversation. We're going to give it to you straight, and it's going to be real. Hey everybody, this is Jeff Sutherland on the Jeff Sutherland Show, joined with Chase Waldron, and we have a special guest today. He's my good friend named Jeff Collins. I've known Jeff for 25 years-ish. In fact, both of our wives worked at that time at a place called Victoria's Secret. You may have heard of it. And that's when Jeff and I got to know each other. And Jeff has been selling new homes for like decades, literally decades. And we have such a blessing to have him on the show today. He's a sales representative for DR Horton, a national builder. And yes, he has been so consistently at a top producer level for so long. So today we get to peek behind the curtain and we get to learn more about what new homes are all about, why people are buying them, and right now, why they're such a great purchase. And we're not just going to be talking about, deals, but we're not going to be just talking conceptually. We're going to be talking about like real deals, like stuff that Jeff is actually bringing to the table right now, why people are going into his community. I think last month they sold like 24 homes or something. He's going to have to tell you all about it. But man, Jeff, what a blessing to have you on the show. And Jeff's, by the way, we were estimating, doing some calculations. We think he sold about 2,000 new homes throughout his career. So Jeff is no joke. So welcome to the show, Jeff Collins.
Thank you, Jazzy. What's up? Thanks for having me on the show. This is awesome. This is a really cool experience. So thanks for having me. Love this.
Oh, you got it. In fact, we have nicknames for each other. I'm Jazzy 1, he's Jazzy 2. So there we go.
Hey, you know what? I think Chase is Jazzy number 3.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome, Jeff. Hey, man, we're going to get right to it, dude. We're not even going to talk about me and Chase. We're going to talk about you, what's going on out there. And let's start off. So where are you selling right now in the Valley of the Sun?
Yeah, so I am out in the Southeast Valley in the Pinal County area. The neighborhood is called Quail Ranch. And yes, as you said, I'm with the DR Horton company. And it's crazy how busy we are out here. And really, it's all about affordability. Everybody's coming out here to buy. It's all, I think of it kind of like going to Gilbert or Chandler 20 something years ago. You keep on hitting those fringe areas and people just keep moving 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes to be able to have that American dream and afford their home. So it seems that this is what's happening out here in the Pinal County area right now. It's unbelievable.
So Jeff, what's going on in Pinal County? It's growing like crazy, isn't it? You got any highlights or, why is that? I know affordability is obviously an issue, but is there anything else going on to make people flock there?
Well, so if you know a little bit, there's a 24 extension with and a Central Arizona Parkway that's coming out here in the near future. I mean, not right next year, but in the next few years, that is planned out here, which is going to be another major thorough to Queen Creek, Santan Valley, Florence. I mean, it will even tie up into, as it comes off of Ironwood and the 24, it'll even go towards the 60 in the Gold Canyon area. So it's going to be huge out here in the future. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool. I've heard statistics that like 40% of the growth in the entire Phoenix Valley is going to be happening down that southeast corridor, heading towards Coolidge and Florence and those in Santan Valley. I mean, I can't believe the amount of businesses and everything that's moving down there. In fact, Chase, you just moved down there, right?
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that 24 extension, man. It's going to help all of us out here.
Absolutely. So Jeff, what are the prices of your homes out there, man? It's like, I think a lot of people have this like image of just things being out of control. And there are areas which I believe are very expensive, but how much, what's the price point of your homes out there?
So price points of the homes here in Quail Ranch are going to roughly be between $365 to $450.
Okay, awesome. And you sold like How many houses did you sell last month, brother?
Dude, I mean, it's been nuts here. We netted 24 homes in June, and consistently, we just seem to have a lot of what people are looking for, what they need, and we make it really easy. So that's a big part of it. We have that affordability factor, but then also we have all these other tools that we can totally just make it make sense for the buyer as they come out here. I mean, obviously, they have to be willing to come out here because I'm not right in town, but there's a lot of reasons why you'd come out to the neighborhood and buy a new home from me.
Yeah. I just want to say, Jeff, I'm excited to have you here, man, because we basically talk a little bit every single week about these new builds, different communities, what incentives are being offered, and how, new build communities are helping buyers get in homes. So it's a beautiful thing, man. And now we got the pro on. So we're excited, man. But how, you being in the industry a long time, how has the new build homes, how has that changed over the years from when you first started out selling new builds to, what we're seeing now? Are there some significant changes that have taken place along the way?
Well, yeah, so I kind of think of, we just keep getting better and better every year, right? So you've got materials, you have workmanship, you have different efficiencies that the builders, all of us, just get better and better each year. The energy efficiencies, that level keeps rising, and that's huge for a buyer because we're using the latest and greatest, so when you're buying new, you're getting the best out there, even though in 10 more years, we're going to have better stuff at that point. But it's crazy how efficient we can make our homes these days. And it really helps that pocketbook on a month after month basis with these buyers. So not only getting better, but I guess I don't know where I was going to go with that, but it's just getting down to getting better and better at what we do as new home builders, right? At the end of the day.
For sure. And, with all of the incentives that it seems like a lot of different builders are offering, every single builder's a little bit different, obviously, in what they're offering. And it changes frequently, obviously, depending on the market. But with what we're seeing now with these rate buy downs, some communities are offering different things, but has that historically been the case? Have these new build communities always offered such grand incentives?
So yeah, it's always been, what are we giving? What's our incentives this month? What are our incentives next month? And it seems that we're putting a lot of our eggs into the basket of, let's get that interest rate down, because that, number one, that impacts the buyer's mortgage payment the most. It doesn't matter if I lower the price or I do this, the interest rate is everything. And we will often, almost always, show people how those numbers work. So we have a great tool here that I go over with people. And when we're talking about our interest rate, let's say on a 3.99% fixed rate compared to, let's just say, a current market rate on FHA of, let's say, 6.75. That is a huge difference in payment. We're looking at over $600 a month. So that's something that the builder's doing on the back end. We're doing that for the buyer just to make it make sense for them, and just for them to be able to afford the home and get in and start owning instead of renting.
Yeah. And that's, I think, what a lot of people don't understand too. That's, in order to buy the rate down, especially, at all, that's money that has to come from somewhere, right? And so the builder is upfronting those funds needed in order to buy those rates down, correct?
That is correct. So right now it costs us almost 11 points. So I think it's 10.875% points to get that FHA loan to 3.99. So if we're talking a $400,000 home, for example, that's over $40,000 that we are spending as an incentive just to help make that payment make sense for you. I mean, so as incentive, when people say, what are your incentives? Like, dude, this interest rate is going to be a big part of it. That's for sure, because it's very costly. Thankfully, we're doing it because we're selling a lot of homes this way, for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's important to note again, like $40,000 per home, call it, just on average, that the builder is putting in here, in order to achieve that rate. So it's not free, right? So that's important. That's important to note. And We keep throwing out this 399 number. Is this something that's realistic that you guys, I mean, I know you and I have discussed it, but let the listeners know, like, that's what you guys are offering right now as an incentive, is a 3.99 interest rate for some of these homes?
Yeah, correct. So for FHA and VA loans for homes that would close by the end of September, currently, that is what we are offering. I mean, so a small little tidbit on that, on an FHA loan, the buyer's credit score needs to be at 640 or higher. But, to get that best interest rate at the 3.99. But in addition to that, then we're helping them with closing costs. We're doing a lot of things that really helps that buyer with, I say, hey, if you can get that 3.5% down payment, you can be in a home. My payment's going to be less than your rent, dude. I mean, so it happens so often that it just floors me that so many don't realize that they actually can achieve this home ownership or purchasing a home, because it's scary to a lot of people, especially the first time buyer that I deal with a lot, or just those people that are trying to keep that price point down. They don't understand how the numbers work. And it's really cool to be able to show and share them and visually just break it down for them. So it's not me just talking and making it, talking real fast and it sounding really good, but showing them with numbers, showing them with actual data and just doing side-by-side comparisons. And they go, wow, is this real? Is this true? Where's the catch? And there isn't no catch, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. It's almost, I mean, man, when you think about it, compared to the market rate of being right below a 7, it sometimes might seem too good to be true, so that's, I can see that point of view as well. And, talking about, I think it's important too, and I know you and I have discussed it, is agents that are helping people get into these new build communities, properly educating them, right? Because you and I have discussed about people coming in and even the agents don't fully understand sometimes the difference that interest rate is making, right? Someone who is, let's say, looking at only 350,000, or that's their max purchase price that they feel they can afford. You have agents coming in and not even looking at a house that maybe is priced at 365, but when you're comparing a 6.8 interest rate to a 3.99, their payment's going to be less on that higher priced home with that lower interest rate, right? And so it's really these agents that also need to help educate buyers, and especially first-time home buyers that might not understand.
Well, yeah. So oftentimes you're not only educating the buyer, but really also educating the agent as well on the power of this interest rate. Not all the time, but every now and then you have some people come in with an agent and they say, hey, I'm looking for 350. That's what we just got pre-qualified through my lender on. And I go, awesome. So 350, the first question that I ask is, at what interest rate were you pre-qualified at? Almost always it's a much higher. It's in the mid 6s to 7, depending on which weeks. I say, knowing that, let me show you how much more you can afford, and your payment's going to be a lot less than that $350,000 home that you say we have to stick at this number, because anymore it's not the price of the home, it's that rate. For example, I have a sample here, and at a $404,000 home on an FHA loan, putting 3.5% down with principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance, you're paying $2,252 a month, right? Compared to if that interest rate was 6.75%, you're looking at $2,900. That's almost $700, right? But then I take it a step further and I say, okay, if we're trying to achieve that price or that mortgage payment of about $2,250, what's the price of the home that you'd be looking at maybe on the resale market or anywhere else at a 6.75% to gain the same mortgage payments? When I go to my third little column, I enter it and I back it in. And to get the same price, you're looking at a $305,000 house compared to $404,000 to get the same price within $6 or $7. So it's just, I think, really educating everybody in the room on the power of this rate and truly where I can get their payment. Because really all of us at the end of the day, it's how much is this thing going to cost me? Right. So
For sure.
it's super empowering and just, it's awesome to have this. And people really dig it. That's for sure.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's huge. We've gone pretty deep on the interest rate side of things. What are some other highlights about new builds that really bring people in other than the rate, right? What are some other reasons that someone would really be drawn to a new build home as opposed to just going and finding a resale home?
So, I mean, well, I guess the first thing I would say is it's brand new, right? So nobody else has lived there. Everything is brand new. So you're not worrying about what somebody else did to the home or what's behind the walls. I guess you can always repaint and clean up and make it look good and all those things, but there's definitely things behind the walls that are not brand new. Depending on the age of the home, it could get pretty pricey on every now and then with fixing things and this happening this month and then this happening this month. And oh my goodness. So just having the aspect of the home being new is huge. Then, the energy efficiency is huge. And again, I know we touched on that a little bit ago, but we do a sprayed foam insulation in the roof and down in the walls, which is incredible. I mean, so you're looking at mortgage payments with people and they have this amount that they're thinking of because they're looking at their overall monthly costs and what's all this stuff going to cost me? Doing what we do, the home, how we seal the home, all these little things that we do, all these parts that we add to our energy efficiency is going to keep their payments or their, all their utilities at a lower point. And then in addition to that, I guess I would just say, I joke and kid that we used to build dumb homes or stupid homes, but now we build smart homes. Technology has allowed us to do a lot of things in the homes that some people really dig and they take advantage of and they use it to the greatest. And other people are a little shy on some of the things that we're going to include, but it's good. The home is going to work no matter what. You just have some additional little things that you could, whether you put the app on your phone and you're unlocking your house from across town or adjusting the thermostat, checking your garage door that maybe is still up. Your neighbor called you and said, oh my gosh, your garage door is up. You want me to go shut it? You could shut it from your phone.
Yeah.
Little cool things like that, so these smart homes, the technology is awesome. And that's another huge difference on something a little bit older.
Yeah, no doubt. I have definitely used that myself. You're racing out the door, you're in a hurry, and then you're like, man, did I shut that garage door? Hold on a second, let me check. And it's right there on your phone. So it's a lot more convenient than having to turn around and go all the way back when you're halfway across town. So that is definitely a benefit.
Or I used to joke that, I'd get in the car and then I'm driving away and I turn back and the outdoor lights are on. All my coach lights are on, the front lights on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I stop and turn around and go hit the switch or just leave them on all day? And usually it was leave them on all day and I'll get to it tonight. But then I need the lights on. But we have special switches and it's a smart lighting platform that you can actually just set it up to where as it gets dark, the lights on the outside go on. When it lightens up, they turn off. It's really cool. So that's just part of these smart things that we're doing. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it really is, man. And another thing, that we can kind of talk through a little bit too, that not everybody understands is the warranty, right? The warranties that come with a new build home, right? You get typically a 1-year warranty, workmanship warranty where, the builder comes in, you have, a 1-month walk and then an 11-month walk. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I think that's a huge benefit to have that you don't get with a resale home, right?
Yeah. So the cool thing is around 11 months, we're going to reach out to somebody. And so basically the process, somebody purchases a home and they're getting ready to move in. We're going to do a walkthrough with them 1 week prior to the closing date. So at that point, they're doing the orientation with our construction manager. They're going to go over the inside, the outside, orientate how things work. And then also that's the opportunity for everybody. And the more eyes, the better, is just looking for little things that need to be fixed or corrected or touched up. And so we're going to have that first walkthrough. And then 1 week later, we'll have the buyer come back. They're going to sign off that anything and everything from that walkthrough is done. So we're saying, all right, everything is 100%. But as we all know, you've got all kinds of people that work on a brand new home, and something's going to come up, right? So it's nice, and it just takes a load off of your shoulders that, if something does happen, it's under warranty. Anytime during that week, on that first year, all materials, all workmanship is going to be taken care of. And that's typically when you're going to see something. If it does come up, it's that first year is when things are going to happen. And we are all about coming out and taking care of it. We'll actually, around the 11th month, reach out. Our customer service reaches out and say, hey, you're coming near your 1 year end, and we'd like to come out and take a look and see what has settled. I mean, the home's going to settle. You're going to have things that come up. We're going to look for those items as well, because some people don't know what to look for, because you don't know what you don't know, really. And so as professionals on our end, we're going to look for those things. Of course, anything that's come up, we're going to take care of as well. We do have a 3-year termite warranty and then a 10-year structural warranty also. So it just kind of takes that fear of, what if something happens? What am I going to do? And it's a relief, for so many people, really. So that's huge. I mean, warranties, brand new, it's the way to go.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You can sleep good at night knowing that, like you said, if something pops up or something goes wrong, right, you're in good hands and you can get it taken care of. And another thing, like you talked about the settling, right? We see that on every home, but it's nice, whether it's drywall cracking or, stucco cracking on the outside, but the builder coming back, kind of identifying those, because obviously the home's going to settle over time, and then getting those patched up and looking good again. So yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Let's talk a little bit. So DR Horton, are you guys specifically just a spec builder? Is that correct? Versus, some builders start from scratch. Someone could come in, go to a design center, right, and kind of pick out finishes if they want, or pick a spec home. But DR Horton is specifically a spec builder. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we're a machine and we have things kind of figured out, and more people are coming this way. But it's nice to be able to say, here's what you get and here's the price. There's no uncertainties. I mean, I've done it both ways. So you can have a base price sheet and say, here's the base price of the home, but if you really love how the model is next door, add another $150,000 to it, because we've really made this model super sexy, right? And you've got this base price in this sexy house, and you're kind of going to be somewhere in between those when you're going through, and you have the ability to add options, go to the design center, really personalize it. What we have found is, if we really build and we've selected these colors and these packages that make sense for so many people, that there's no uncertainty. You know what the price is. You know that you're not going to go in and overspend and freak yourself out on what the price is going to be. Coming in, you can, hey, if you need 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, we're going to have something for you, because we're constantly building right down the street. I always have availability, and it's almost like, well, when do you need to move in? And we tailor that to that time period. Obviously, we can, with not doing a new build and taking 8, 10, 12 months that sometimes a new home might take, we can do these great things with these interest rate buy downs, as opposed to when it's so far out, it's really difficult for the builder to foresee some of those things and the costs involved. So it just makes it a little bit easier for us. You can walk in as a customer and say, what is my home going to look like? And I can show you exactly what it's going to look like, give you an exact price, break it down. I mean, payment is big to the most buyers, and say, here's what you're going to pay. And you take a lot of the stressful part when buying a new home. We take a lot of that out of the mix and make it just a super easier process that's a lot less stressful at the end of the day. I've done it both ways, and I have found that most buyers go, wow, this is great. And if they don't like that package, we pivot and we go and look at the home with this color package in it. But that's what we have found that makes the most sense. And it's been a really good model to work for. So that's how we do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because you think about it, and you are able to, with that model, basically have something ready whenever suits the time frame of the buyer, right? Because if someone is coming in and they're, potentially wanting to do a brand new build, right? They're having to wait, 8, 10, 12 months maybe. But let's say somebody is like, hey, my lease is coming up here in 2 months or 3 months or 5 months, whatever. You guys can kind of plan ahead on that and say, okay, hey, this is the inventory we have finishing up here. Let's figure out kind of what package fits best for you. So that's super cool. And then another thing you mentioned that I think is a good thing to kind of hone in on that not everybody understands is that when builders are, throwing out these interest rates, right, or putting the money up to get these lower interest rates, those are most of the time, right, for those spec homes that are a quicker close, right? With a brand new, if a community does offer start from scratch homes that are going to take 8 or 10 months, no one knows what the interest rates are going to be 8 or 10 months down the road, right? So they cannot guarantee a rate, right? So really those great rates that are being offered are typically on those spec builds that are closing more quickly. Is that correct?
Exactly. Usually the 30, 60, 90 days, maybe we will extend that interest rate for, but any further than that, it makes it really tough. We're always going to have those homes coming up because, we're just a machine here. And so if timing's not working, and somebody needs 6 months, then, in 2 months, they should start the process. We can identify the home. We can identify the location and maybe narrow down as it gets a little bit closer to here are the home sites that will be available for that time period of that buyer. And as we get a little closer, we'll know exactly where our rates are and what we'll lock you in at, which, we've been doing a pretty good job so far with that.
Yeah. And how does it work? How often do these incentives change, right? So if we're offering a 3.99 now, if someone is just kind of popping in to see and they're like, oh man, they're offering a 3.99 now, but I really don't need a place for maybe 4 months, are they going to still be offering that interest rate? Or how often do these incentives change typically? Is it kind of by the week, by the month?
So yeah, it's hard because everybody says, how long is this going to last for? And really, I don't know. It could change. It could change next week. Right? Sometimes it's what the market is doing and how much things cost and what we feel is the secret sauce to continue to sell homes, right? So could it change next week or next month? Absolutely. It's kind of why you can't overpromise. Yeah, this is going to be here forever. If you're looking and this makes sense, if you don't have to wait, don't wait. It's certainly, I don't think, going to get any better. Holy cow.
Yeah. And sales reps who are in there helping out, right? Like you said, you're not sure, right? Do you kind of just get the info, the day before things change, or how does that typically work?
Yeah, so it is funny. So everybody says, is this price going to change or is this going to change? And I'm a pretty stinking honest dude, right? And so I say, I don't know. I truly don't know. But sometimes in the morning we'll get a price increase, or things have changed. So this rate is going to cost us a little bit more. So it is what it is. It's hard to overpromise somebody that something's not going to change. But when they're in that office saying, here's what my price is and here's what our rates are as of right now, will it change? It could. I mean, we're going to continue to do what it takes to sell homes because we're an animal over here, right? But anything changes. So waiting and thinking it's going to be exactly the same, it's a gamble. It's a gamble for sure.
I've been teaching agents for years to go out to new homes and basically let the new home professional do what they think. Do what they do best, right? Which is sell houses, right? And I think that a lot of these agents, especially on the resale side, they believe, well, I got to show my client 20 more houses. Instead of just if they like the house, it's actually okay for them to buy a house, the first house they see. They're getting along with you, right? You're doing a good job showing them all the features and benefits of the house. And for some reason, a lot of resale agents feel like they got to get in the way and go show more homes, even though their buyer really, really likes that house. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I've always thought this, and, I've been doing this for a little bit, but I've always thought that it's not me against you. I promise it's not me against you. We're all in this together. We have this common goal at the end of the day, right? I'm trying to find what might work for the client and for the agent's client, right? So it's funny that if we do find the home that is working and basically we're checking all the boxes, and every now and then I have the buyers they're making these strong buying signals, and they're saying, oh my gosh, and yes, I love this and I love this, and holy cow, we're starting to put furniture in the home, and we're starting to really get a little bit more involved in how is this going to look when we live in this home. And then I say, so you're telling me you really love this home. Why don't we just move forward on it? I mean, it's within your payment. It's well below what you were thinking. It's checking every box. It's checking everything you want. You actually are telling me you love this home and you basically want to do this. And then every now and then, not always, but every now and then an agent says, well, we're going to think about it because we have several more to look for. And I kind of say, why would you want to go confuse the client? Because the more you look at, the more difficult it is to remember what is what, because everything starts to just get confusing. And by the end, they're so confused at what they looked at. Now they have to go back and look again. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't own the gas company. I mean, everybody has to put gas in their car, and time is very, very valuable. So a lot of times I kind of chuckle and say, well, why not take this one off the market and go enjoy the rest of your day? I mean, who wants to go look for 4 or 5 or 6 more hours? I mean, if I truly have what you want and what you're looking for, why make it more difficult? Why keep looking? I mean, and that's what I think anyways. If I go in and find a car and I go, well, I'm going to keep looking, just to spin my wheels and looking for, like, I'm going to find something else. I'm going to find that same red car at another dealership and another red car in the next dealership. And I'm just trying to keep seeing if there's something better for me. But at the end of the day, that first car that had exactly what I needed worked for me. And I just spent spend 2 more days looking.
Yep, that's right. That's right. I want to shift gears and ask another question about investors. And I know that, every company's different. Some companies allow investors, some don't. But I do know that when things slow up in new homes in a community, and right now they're not slow at all for you. You guys are going gangbusters. But at some times, some projects go slower, right? Especially during closeout. I just bought 4 houses down in Coolidge, and because I really believe in the area. Right. And I believe as an investor, if you can pick up a new home or a newer home, it is a great investment in Arizona, especially if you're coming in and you're keeping your DTIs fairly strong. You're not getting over your skis too much. You're not over leveraging. My business partner and I, we put down 20% on deals, and that way we know we can cash flow the rent or at least break even. But what I really like about it is all the warranties that you guys have on your products, right? I know that in the next few years, I'm not going to have to buy a new HVAC, put a new roof on. The plumbing's going to be good, right? There's a lot of peace of mind with that as a buyer, and whether you're a buyer or an investor. So I think investing in new homes is one of the best things out there, as far as a long-term hold. And I would completely recommend it to anybody that can get into a new home community if they allow investors. So anything you want to say about that at all, Jeff?
Yeah, sure. So, and we talked a little bit about the warranties a little bit ago, but yeah, so we sell investment properties in the neighborhood. What we try and do is watch the number of investments within the neighborhood, because at the end of the day, I'm selling homes and I'm selling them for people that want to live here, right? And I want the quality of the neighborhood to remain at the highest level that I possibly can. If I just decided to sell half of the street to a big investment firm or something, and some places do that, we don't, but some places will do that. Well, as a buyer, if I move in and then all of a sudden you've got the entire rest of the street with rental signs, you're kind of going, holy cow, what just happened? And so I want to protect the buyers in my neighborhood. But then on the other hand, I also want to protect an investor. If you have so many investors in the neighborhood, I mean, they're competing against each other. So, onesie, twosie here and there where it makes sense for them, and they don't have all these that they're trying to, now I'm going to cut the rent on this one to try and get a little bit, get mine rented before this guy because there's 10 others on my street. That gets a little crazy as well. So, there's always a good mix, and just limiting them to where it makes sense. And we can, because we have a lot of different homes in different areas, we can select areas in the neighborhood that we're not going to have a bunch in one area. And I'm a huge advocate of just making the neighborhood a good mix and not overloading too many investment properties within a neighborhood.
Yeah, makes
But
a lot of sense.
absolutely, I like to sell them. We absolutely like to sell them. And it's funny, if an investor is paying cash, so because I spend so much money on buying the interest rates down, right? So with that close to 11 points to get it to 3.99, that's 40 grand ish one way or another. If I'm not spending that money and then you want to pay cash, holy cow, I could probably give you a better deal too. So I can make it worth your while on a cash purchase. So that's something that we look at quite a bit as well.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that, right? A lot of people think that builders are not negotiable. They are at times very negotiable. So you got to go in with a good agent that knows what's going on and has a good relationship with the on-site sales agent. I think that's really critical. And that's why Chase and I like to work with you because of your experience. The other thing I wanted to share is when we started this business, both you and I were in new homes at the very beginning. I started my career in new homes. And I remember, Jeff, at the beginning, man, people would sell 8 to 12 houses a weekend. No kidding. And it was not even flow production. They would be selling them in different parts of the community. And I always remember how difficult it was on the trades and the labor because they were running around and we didn't have economies of scale, but yet salespeople were making very, very good money. But it was difficult for the home builders to catch up and the laborers to catch up. We were putting up houses in 90 days. Right. And now the build time's 6, 7, 8 months. So it's kind of interesting how it's changed because now you're getting better economies of scale, right? You're getting better handle on your subcontractors. Your GCs are pretty strong in your communities, right? Because you have a very systematic way of building houses now. And it's not like just, shooting a shotgun at a wall and, seeing what sticks. You know what I mean? By the way, there's a huge cancellation rate. When I was in the business too, you'd write a lot of offers, you'd write a lot of contracts, 30% of them would fall out. And some builders actually wanted you to have a high cancellation rate because they wanted you to write as many contracts as possible. And just think about all the money that's wasted internally with all the repetition of not being able to actually, move forward with buyers. It's a completely different game now.
Yeah. Well, if the home takes 10 to 12 months, a lot of things can happen during that time. Right? Everybody's excited, but there's a few things that can happen that can really snowball the ability for that customer to maybe still even qualify or take another look. Or if it's that far out, they might still be out there looking, they're okay, I got this one, but I'm going to just keep on looking for that next best thing, the next best deal that I can possibly find. And then if everything hits all these boxes, they'll cancel. Yeah. So then I have their home that we built for them with their selections. And now I'm, as a builder, going, ooh, now I'm going to have to really incentivize this home. But if it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, the process for people to change their mind or continue looking or something crazy happening to their ability financing or financially wise, I have a very, very low cancellation rate here. Thank goodness. And I think a big part of that is, the customer coming in, they're looking that they need something at next month or the following month, and we can provide it. And once they find it, they're not still out there looking and they're excited. They're trying to get all their information into mortgage and they're out each week just watching the progress and their excitement continues as opposed to the longer it takes. Holy cow. It starts to get daunting and like, oh my goodness, nothing's changed here for several weeks.
Well, yeah. If you look at 10, 15 years ago, specs were not the norm. It was mostly dirt lots, and then you'd occasionally have a spec. Now I see most of the builders becoming spec builders, and they're keeping their options, they're standardizing their options so they know they're not going to get some wonky options in there. And if somebody cancels out, they're going to have to sell some pink flamingo house that's ugly, you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy. It's different.
Well, I remember walking into a house and it had blue carpet and then green counters, or it was green, some sort of a green counter. And I thought, holy smokes. And it was beautiful for that buyer. It was perfect. It was exactly what they wanted. Unfortunately, it was exactly what they wanted and not 99% of the other people. So it was a tough deal to figure out how we're going to sell that home,
Yeah. Well, I know we're coming up to the end, and I'm actually glad that Chase and Jeff got to know each other today because I had to run. So I hope you guys had a great conversation. Jeff, dude.
Yes.
Brother, thank you
What?
so much for coming. Did you get a chance to talk about your Why Buy Now program?
So I didn't, but yeah, thanks for allowing me. I'll plug this real quick. And it's something that we are doing as a company, and it's called the Why Buy Now. And maybe we could send out the link, but it's really to help a lot of the agents that are having a difficult time getting their clients off the fence, right? You have all these people that want to buy, but they're like, I'm going to wait. Let's kind of see what happens. There's a lot going on, and there's some tools that are out there that just help some agents and their business getting their clients to move forward, why it makes sense financially. We will have a motivational speaker, our regional president at DHI Mortgage, who will have facts and figures. He'll have backed data, and he's really awesome. He's coming into town, and they said, let's fill up our corporate office with as many agents that want to learn a little bit more. It's not geared towards, hey, you just have to buy a DR Horton home. Yeah, we love that. And we have some on even building credit. We have a home buyer club company within our lending side that when people need to fix their credit or some things just to maybe get their score a little bit higher to get a better rate, we have that free for customers. And that's a really cool tool that even resale agents that can use that. So there's just, we do a lot of things. We have a lot of great tools, and we want to share that with as many agents. We have lots of realtor partners that we do lots of business with, and just getting more people to kind of see some of those things that we do and to build our relationships is kind of what it's about. And we're gonna have lunch, and so you're not gonna come and come hungry or leave hungry. And so the Why Buy Now is gonna be huge. It's by the Chandler Mall. It's in Chandler at our corporate office, and it's July 9th. So it's coming up in a few weeks, right? It's in the afternoon. It's from 1 to 3 p.m. and I can always send out a link, but I have to have you as a guest because there's only so many spots. So they only allow us so many people. But if there's anybody out there that is interested, they could reach out. And I know you have the link, Jeff. I know you and Chase are coming to that. It's going to be great. It's huge. And we're really excited as a company for it and to have this event go on. So I really appreciate you allowing me to just do that little plug because it's going to be big here in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. And today you're hearing from one of the best in the business when it comes to selling new homes, Jeff Collins. Jazzy Jeff Collins is his name. And today was the Chase Waldron show, and I was his co-host. And I'm going to, if you want to work with us, these are the kind of people we work with. We have fun. We help our buyers. We get them into homes. We get them in for great deals, great rates, great prices. And they're out there. You just got to know the right people. And Jeffrey, I'm going to give you the last word. How can people get a hold of you? It's all you, baby.
So, I would love to help. And my cell phone number, I'm going to give my cell phone number out. That's the best way to reach me, or text me. But my phone number is 480-229-3996. Again, 480-229-3996. If you want to email me, that's cool too. And it's JD Collins. So JD Collins, the number 1 at drhorton.com. Those would be the two best ways. Obviously, through Chase and yourself, Jeff, they can reach out to you because you guys know me. I would love to do more business with you guys and your clients, and reach out to me. I'd love it. And that's why we're in this crazy, awesome business, right?
That's right. Jeff, you're a blessing, man. I appreciate you for coming on, and I hope you guys learned a lot today about new homes. Tell your friends about our channel. We're putting out good people every single week. Jeff Sutherland Show on YouTube. And Jeff, thank you for coming. Chase, thanks for leading today.